When you hear the name Area 51, you likely picture the undisputed global capital of extraterrestrial conspiracies, crashed saucers, secret autopsies, and little green men. For decades, a persistent cultural myth has insisted the U.S. government uses this remote Nevada desert base to hide and reverse engineer alien technology. Recently declassified documents reveal that the CIA viewed the nation's UFO panic as a strategic asset, weaponizing public imagination to mask their operations. This raises a central historical question. If the most heavily guarded military base on Earth wasn't hiding Martians, what were they doing that required lethal, absolute secrecy? The true history of Area 51 revolves around toxic operations, deadly accidents, and stolen enemy technology. It is a reality far messier and darker than any science fiction movie. In 1955, the CIA needed an isolated location to test the highly classified U-2 spy plane. They built their facility at Groom Lake, a dry salt flat locked behind harsh desert mountains. Staffing the base required a grueling, dangerous commute. Workers were flown into the restricted airspace on unmarked transport planes under strict radio silence. That absolute radio silence, combined with a blinding blizzard, proved disastrous. In November 1955, a C-54 military transport plane lost its bearings and slammed into the granite peak of Mount Charleston. 14 scientists, engineers, and crew members died on the freezing mountainside. Because the U-2 project was a matter of national security, the cover-up was absolute. The victims' families were lied to about the mission, and they would not learn the truth about their loved ones' deaths for 4 decades. The base's true foundational secret is the hidden, tragic sacrifice of the Cold War workers who built it. A second classified reality of Area 51 was its geography. The base sat a mere 5 miles from the Nevada test site, America's primary atomic proving ground. When atmospheric weapons like the Hood bomb detonated, 6 times larger than Hiroshima, radioactive fallout swept directly over Area 51, forcing temporary evacuations. The danger wasn't always accidental. Under a classified program called Project 57, the military deliberately detonated high explosives inside a nuclear warhead right next door to the spy plane facility, simulating an atomic airplane crash. Security guards and contractors had to maintain the perimeter and clean up the testing grounds, operating in primitive plastic suits while surrounded by aerosolized plutonium. While the public was scanning the skies for fictional alien threats, the people actually working at Area 51 were dodging the very earthly, lethal threat of nuclear contamination. This brings us to the most pervasive rumor of all, the claim that government engineers were locked away in underground hangars, reverse engineering crashed craft. Military engineers were indeed dismantling and rebuilding foreign flight technology, specifically a fleet of covertly acquired Soviet MiGs. By the late 1960s, U.S. fighter pilots in Vietnam were suffering catastrophic losses, being shot down at an alarming 9-to-1 ratio by Soviet-built jets. Under covert programs named Have Donut and Have Drill, the CIA acquired captured MiG-21s and MiG-17s, bringing them to the Nevada desert for extensive mock dogfights against American planes. U.S. pilots finally found the exact blind spots and maneuverability limits of the enemy jets. This specific tactical data directly led to the creation of the Navy's legendary Top Gun training program. The base's greatest technological triumphs were about gaining a critical edge in a terrestrial war, successfully hidden from the Soviet spy satellites passing overhead. Declassified records show that secret operations at Groom Lake were the direct catalyst for the modern UFO phenomenon. Commercial airlines in the 1950s flew around 20,000 feet. When a U-2 or an A-12 ox cart cruised at 60,000 feet in the early evening, the Earth below was already in dark shadow. But their titanium skin, soaring miles above, would catch the setting sun, appearing to pilots below as a glowing, fiery object. Reports of flying saucers flooded in. The CIA realized this optical illusion was an absolute gift to their security. The agency actively deployed cover stories while quietly encouraging the extraterrestrial rumors. Letting the public obsess over Martians kept foreign intelligence completely in the dark about America's top-secret reconnaissance capabilities. The government executed one of history's most successful psychological misdirection campaigns. To protect their most sensitive aerospace programs, they gladly traded the grim, toxic reality of the Cold War for a harmless sci-fi fantasy.